Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to another episode. We've been taking a bit of a break as well. I mean, the football has been kind of slow. We haven't got a lot of transfer news as well. So, yeah, it's been slow, but there's a big uh, things happening, at least in Spain. And so we're here to talk about that. Joining me, of course, is Knayha. Knayha, welcome back on the show once again.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hope you're
Rohit, for
enjoying
having me.
your summer visits. Yeah, well, it's summer now. Yeah, here in Sweden. Hope you're enjoying
It's summer. Yeah, it's
summer. Yeah.
really bright weather and
Oh, cool, nice. Yeah,
fine.
we're not having a lot of summer here in Toronto, but yeah, hopefully enjoying it. And we know who's not enjoying it. We're talking about Barcelona. It's a tough situation. I mean, for Barcelona. I mean, we talked about their financial issues, the financial ways. I just feel at this moment it's like, you know how you go to the couch and you go, I have fun, $10 here, $5 there, trying to scrounge. Sometimes it feels like that, but then you hear from them and the way that they talk about how they can sign players. So let's get into it. 1.35 billion euros still in debt. They have got a new deal, I guess, naming stadium naming rights, as well as the shirt deal with Spotify. So that should help them. But still seems like they're in trouble even now.
Yep, that's the thing. So it just like it just doesn't stop, right? The Barca financial rules or issues that have been happening that we've been talking about since last year, or when they started, when they got when we got to know about them, basically. The fact that this is a mess, it's a bigger mess than anybody would have thought about it, right? And also the fact that you didn't expect this to crumble. Okay, you saw, like, how La Liga, obviously the signs were there. It's not that you can't sign players with more than 100 million every season, but then suddenly they were doing that. So there was still a lot of fair play, and people were questioning them. And I'm very sure that a lot of experts who if they listen to this will be like, we had, there were red signs before when they signed Dembele, and then when they went out to sign Griezmann, and also they didn't stop doing business. They went
Coutinho as well.
Coutinho, Frankie de Jong. Like, Frankie de Jong didn't cost them that much, but then Coutinho was a major. Like, these three players, Dembele, Griezmann, and Coutinho, I think, were the main ones that they were above 100 million for them. Starting with Coutinho, I think Coutinho was the one that was the first one, and then Dembele followed, and then Griezmann followed the next season. And it was pretty unsustainable at that time as well. People were like, okay, what's happening? Because you still had Messi there, so everyone knew that Messi is not going to be. It's not that the 1.3 billion debt is because it's 750 million because of Messi. It was not that. It was the whole way. The whole structuring of the previous management, and of course, then we can go back and talk about what happened. But then it's a cleanup now. What has happened, what we are getting to know now, like the Spotify deal as well, and Laporta he's basically held back, and he's like, this deal or this club can crumble. Like, the ownership, and if they file for bankruptcy as well, because that's not a small debt, that's a huge debt. And they've started moving toward that direction. Of course, we can, with offloading a lot of players, going, and what I didn't like, but also the smear campaigns that were done to kind of undermine and tell people to leave or get a pay cut, like Umtiti, Gerard Pique, Sergio Busquets, the senior players in the team as well. There was a lot of pressure, I would say, from the start, but it just kind of boiled over, and it's 1.3 billion still. I feel there have, we don't still know the whole story, because I was reading some threads on Twitter which said that there have been cases filed against the previous management for siphoning money and for using for personal benefits and so on. So I don't know how deep this goes, but then I because it's very hard to follow the Spanish news when you don't speak Spanish, and this is more and they definitely would not want to kind of have this news out in the world, given the fact how everybody in the world is reacting to the fact like such a big club as Barcelona is struggling or did kind of mess up their finances, because you don't expect such a big club like Barcelona to do that. And obviously this was the big breaking news last year when Messi left. Everyone was like, this is what happens when, this is what happens when you are like not in touch with reality, with what you can do. But what do you think about the Spotify deal? Do you think this helps?
It's sad, isn't it? It's a lot of gross mismanagement. And to be honest, if I remember 15 years ago when I was playing FIFA 06, I remember we used to hear Barcelona, one of the few big clubs that don't have shirt sponsorships. And that was one of the first things. They used to actually pay UNICEF to have their, they used to actually pay them to have their UNICEF logo on the t-shirt. And here we are 15 years later. Now it's like not only the shirt sponsorships have been sold, obviously, but they've also now sold the naming rights to the stadium. So it's sad to see in many ways. And I do want to ask you about the players being asked to take a pay cut, because that's something that's been talked about. So 50% off, as they do, and there you go, everybody. I mean, it's interesting you mentioned pressure, because I'm sure for the senior players, there's going to be pressure. But what about the other ones that are probably not so, connected to the club, the likes of Frenkie de Jong, the likes of, and we'll talk about Frenkie de Jong later because he's a big story another way, but as well. But let's say Ferran Torres as well. I mean, I know he's probably not going to be on the list because he's just recently signed a contract, so I guess he's not a part of that. But even for them, they're probably going to be earning more than the likes of Pique or the likes of Alves. These guys, they're probably going to be earning more than them, and it will be pressure as well for them. What do you think? Do you think that's that's the approach? That you agree with that approach? Do you think that will cause more trouble for the playing staff?
I think it depends on how, not on the playing. I think it depends on the future as well. Like is it a cycle? Like if Pique is supposed to take a pay cut, so Ferran Torres can sign. Then if Ferran Torres, if they want to sign somebody new, like an Nkunku maybe, just for an example.
Lewandowski is not going to come cheap, right?
Exactly. I don't want to say that, but then okay. If Lewandowski wants to come in, are they going to go to Ferran Torres and be like, I think we need you to only be at 75% of what we are right now, and he's like, what? So, is this a cycle? Because they're not kind of saying they have an amazing La Masia as well. They have an academy. They can simply say we can let go of our pride and say that yes, we need 5 seasons to suffer and not sign anyone just to improve the team and the performance and also the financials. We need 5 years. They can't do this within less than 5 years. That's what I see, because the way I feel it works is it has to be, they have to kind of go on a sabbatical on the signings, unless like something like Aubameyang happens, is like he's already outside your training ground and asking you for a medical, and then then you are in the position to kind of go and say, okay, this is what you get, and he's not negotiating. Or an Aguero happens where Aguero comes in just like, I just want to end my career here, basically, and then he's not interested more in the money. He's like, okay, I just want to end my career here. So that unless that happens, it's a cycle. Then the Ferran Torres we'll have to think about like even Frenkie de Jong right now, or all the players right now in Barcelona, like even Gavi, who are up for
Gavi want to stay there because of what's happened elsewhere, but that's a different. We can't talk about that on the show.
No, but it's these are kind of players who are like now being rumored to not be, like, that's again a social media campaign again. They're like kind of being pressurized. That's what I said. It feels like this is not being run as professional club now. It's more like a social media club, and we know which one's the top of that as well. So I think it's just like really sad to see Barcelona lose its identity. Like also what you just said about the UNICEF, and I remember Eric Abidal and the whole players with who won the Champions League as well. I think with that with that jersey with Puyol and Xavi, Iniesta, and the FIFA 2006-07 was pretty epic as well, because they were the only club which did not have any sponsorship. But now we are like, and it's dire straits right now.
And speaking of sponsorship as well, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently they've offered 300 euros per player. Like regular players can come and play at the Camp Nou. They're offering 300 euros for every player. You have 2 teams, So you can play against each other. I think it's once a week or something that they can do that. So that's something. They're also offering wedding receptions, banquets, they're doing that as well. So it's almost like, as I said, you try to find, okay, what else can I sell? It's like when you're trying to get, when you've overspent in your house and you're like, okay, I can sell this and I can sell this and I'll get $5 for this and I'll get $10 for this. It's on a grander scale. It almost feels like they're trying to monetize everything that they can to try and get whatever they can out of it. So it's a little bit of a sad state. And speaking of that as well, we were talking about, player sales and everything. They're still looking to try to bring players in. They still want to bring in Lewandowski. They still want to bring in, Raphinha is also another player who's been linked. You talked about Nkunku. I don't think Nkunku is going to happen, but they probably still want. There's actually, Xavi said he's 4 or 5 players on his list that he's looking at. They want Ruben Neves as well. I think is one of the ones they're looking at as well. So they already got Kessie and Christensen waiting to come in. So they're still active. How many transfers do you think is going to happen for Barcelona? All things considered. We can't hear you, so I think you lost.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, sorry. So I said that I think in my mind it's more like they need to calm down. They need to kind of say this is not sustainable. In my mind, I feel that this is extremely hard for them to kind of keep trying. And if they still want to, like, okay, when you get linked with players in Barcelona, people know that your financial situation is not good. But then when you are like, okay, I want him, and go with like, okay, I will get him, it's pretty hard for the manager to kind of do that line for you. He's basically like, do I kind of say no right now directly, or do I say, oh no, that we can make that possible? And everyone's looking at him as like, what, how? But how will you make that possible? You don't have the money, and you don't, the fair play rules.
It's installment, isn't it? It's the financing. You buy now and you don't pay. Yeah, it's so like, how they sell cars, right? Don't pay for the first 24 months and then you pay after that. So, 0% financing for the first 24 months. So 0 down payment and something like that.
No, but that's kind of, it's basically like the campaign that we have now on all our financial apps, right? Buy now and pay later.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And you take everything on credit, and then it's basically
it's not even, and it's not even the loan installment thing. It's like they have the things where you don't have to pay for the first 12 months, 4 months, don't pay anything, and it's just like that. It's like that kind of financing.
And I'm just feeling like Barcelona can obviously get that money back, like, or kind of help themselves by winning titles and by being, but then the atmosphere right now is mostly when you keep thinking about, like, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Like Laporta can have a press conference tomorrow and basically say, okay, 7 players, we can't have them. These are the 7 players. We are leaving them now. Of course, those 7 players will definitely have other clubs to choose from, but then it's more of a desperate sale.
Yeah, it's worse as well when you have to also factor in wages, right? I mean, someone like Griezmann, for example, Atletico said they don't want him at the price that was already agreed, right? So now they want him for cheaper. So do Barcelona do they sell him on a massive loss?
But they have to. That's what they did with Coutinho as well, right? They had to, like, because they eventually realized that this was a bad deal. And when Laporta, the only good thing I like about that guy is he's not the villain here. Like, he's playing this so well. Like, he's basically like, I'm just helping this club to come back. This has been a problem that I've been handed off. I've not created it. But Barcelona is not the same club anymore. It has been tarnished. It was one of those clubs where you just love the whole feel good. It's like, and it's pretty funny because the Galacticos or the Real Madrids, the Madrid, the biggest rival to Barcelona in Spain, I was always expecting them to kind of bloat like this, like, because the way they bought, they had, but then it seems they run a better shop.
Well, they're in the massive debt as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not
$1 billion, but they have been very fiscally responsible the last 2 or 3 years. I just think Barcelona just didn't want that fiscally. For some reason, they just thought, well, it's okay, we'll get back. And I don't know whether it was the people who were in charge who just didn't know what was happening at the time, bad management. I don't know what it was, but they just decided, there was just this sort of let's bury our heads in the sand kind of deal. And of course, the other part that actually rocked them as well was the European Super League. The fact that they wanted that Super League to happen for that very reason, because they needed that money. Yeah. And then, of course, that got cancelled. And I think that also shocked Barcelona a lot. So I do feel in the background, they might have thought, well, the Super League is coming. at some point we're bringing it. And so let's not worry about it right now, because when that comes in, the money will automatically wipe off our debts.
But then that's kind of the thing, right? That's kind of the thing as well, right? The fact that it's basically like, the spoiled kids.
Yeah.
It's like they spoil kids of all different parts of the country, and then they meet together and they head out to a holiday. They head out to Ibiza, and then they say, and they party harder, and then come back and they say, oh shit, we're in debt. And then they decide, oh, but I met more people like me in Ibiza. Let me call them. Let me form something of a partnership agreement, and then let's see how this works. If we can play ourselves, or it's again a branding activity. But that's the thing. Like it's so elitist in my mind. The thought that you feel that you can, you just take advantage of people, of the fans, the supporters who actually love the game, rather than this bullshit that's happening. I feel very strongly about the fact that about the Super League, and they're still talking about it. I'm really ashamed of the clubs that they even thought of this, rather than cleaning their shop, and rather than kind of saying and being accountable and saying we messed up. But it seems like what I've realized is it's more like the rich kids. They don't care, right? Or the richest, basically, the rich people, the wealthiest in this world, the 1%. They're like, the rules don't apply to us. Someone will bail us out, and that someone is generally the fans, the people. Ticket prices going up, each match, everything across. I'm just not talking about I'm just generally talking about
Frankfurt fiasco, right?
Exactly. So these are like things which are like, they just raise a ticket price by 10 euros. They sell 100,000 of those. That's 10 million right there for one. Like if just
a million.
Yeah, a million. So but then over a season, that's a huge bump in the revenue right there, right? So I feel that this is again those. So yeah, Barcelona needs, and I don't care about naming anymore, because I think the only club that's still I think there are a lot of historic clubs that are still kind of keeping that, but they will all kind of, because it's greed again, right? They see Spotify spending a good amount of money to help Barcelona rebuild the stadium, refinance. I'm sure there'll be a lot of financial engineering there, but then it's a very bad.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about the naming rights, to be honest. I mean, teams. I mean, we have used, to be honest, BMO Field and Air Canada Center. So there's all sorts of things.
No, I'm
not inherently opposed to naming rights. I think it's just the circumstances of it.
I'm talking about. No, I'm basically like, okay, now Real Madrid might look at Real Madrid is Santiago Bernabeu is Santiago Bernabeu. It's not Spotify Santiago, or not Apple Music Santiago Bernabeu, right?
Yeah, I mean, iTunes Santiago Bernabeu iTunes. I don't know, I could be one, or the iTunes Stadium. You know what? I tell you what, United will probably look into that. Yeah, the Twitter Stadium, or
that's what I was thinking, and I didn't want to say it, but thanks. It's Manchester United. It's Old Trafford. It's Twitter Manchester United.
Yeah, Twitter. Yeah, I mean, you know what? They could actually do a whole thing with Facebook, to be honest. Facebook Old Trafford. You could have the WhatsApp end, the Instagram section, whatever, because they're all owned by Facebook. So they could just do a whole campaign. But anyway.
But then that's kind of the thing. Like, okay, what Barcelona is doing is, I think there are clubs, like, of course there are clubs which own some, like these brands who own some parts of the stadium. So I'm very sure of that. But then they never get the naming rights, because nobody is bigger than the club, like the name, like Barcelona or Camp Nou.
Club,
exactly. So that's kind of the thing. But then it is what it is. I think Barcelona needs to kind of have a real reality check. What's going to be very interesting is how they fare the next season. They're already in Australia selling themselves a lot, so I hope they're getting some money as well from.
They probably will want to do a few friendlies with some bigger clubs as well. Probably might see them doing some pre-season friendlies. But talking about players and talking about transfers, I mean, Frenkie de Jong, Now, this one, I mean, I'm not claiming here to know what's going on, but it looks like that. I mean, even Frenkie de Jong came out of the Netherlands game. They beat Belgium, by the way, for 1 in the Nations League, and he's talking about how he likes the way that he plays with the Netherlands, not how he likes playing with the Spain. Like he feels he's not playing there. So you're starting to see this little bit of wheels turning now, where de Jong was bursting. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. Now he's starting to make comments like that. Do you think he's being pushed out, and therefore now he's trying to make it clear that, yeah, you know, I'm not, maybe the narrative is also changing on his end by saying, no, I'm not being pushed out, maybe I need to leave. So I think that wheel is turning, that they're going to try, that he's going to leave. Most people assume that he's going to leave. I think it's just a matter of where he's going to go, but I think he's that from both sides now there's an agreement that he needs to leave.
I think what Frenkie de Jong's situation tells us about how a player who just loves playing is forced to think about these things. Frenkie de Jong does not care. He did not care when he joined Barcelona what they were doing. Like he trusted the club.
He loves the club, right? That was his dream club, right? And, you know,
exactly. It's basically like
kids. It is Barcelona, really, you know, dream club.
It is Barca because of the Johan Cruyff.
Yeah,
it's because of Johan Cruyff. The whole the connection there. But then this is sad. This is so sad to see Frenkie de Jong being questioned every day. Well, will you join Eric? He's like, why should I leave? Like that's his statement. Like, why am I supposed to leave? Why? I don't want to leave. Xavi loves me. I'm not leaving. Yeah, of course there are backdoor. There's a management talk happening. There's Manchester United talking to the board directly talking to the Barcelona board, and they are basically asking for 85 million because, well, Lewandowski is not going to come cheap. Somebody needs to pay that guy, right?
Yeah.
And then if they
Kessie or Christensen, yeah.
Exactly. If they get Kessie and then Christensen, 85 million gets you 3 players and some extra money as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm very sure that's the plan. Because it can't be a 1-to-1, like a 1-to-3 replacement in a way. Because Barcelona still needs the money to get some better operationally in a way. But this is very sad. I feel that he will leave. He will be forced to leave. It'll be again a teary-eyed press conference where he will say that I did not want to leave this club, but I might come back. I'm young.
Yeah.
And
it looks like the wheels are starting to turn. They're just based off his last interview that he did with another.
Yeah, exactly. That was a telling. Exactly, you're right on that. That was telling to me. I was like, because he maintained a very straight face. He was like, why should I leave?
Yeah.
I love this club. This is the club of my dreams. Xavi loves me.
Now the tone has changed.
The tone is like, yeah.
I feel more free at Netherlands. And who's coaching Netherlands? It's Louis van Gaal. Who's the coach of Manchester United? Is a Dutch coach. So you know that's where things are going. And I think that's of course there's still fees to be decided. PSG might come in. City might come in. Maybe. You know, some other clubs. I mean, AC Milan, by the way, also have a relationship with Ajax kids as well. Like you know, Dutch players, and AC Milan has a relationship as well. I don't think Milan have the money quite right now to pull it off, but you know, you never know.
I also feel that it may be because also the fact that he wants to play the Champions League. He does not want to not play the Champions League. That's one of his biggest things. He's basically made it himself very, very clear that I want to
Milan in there. I have no information on Milan. I'm just throwing them in there.
I get the point. Like, but then for what he's maintained is basically that I want to play Champions League, and Manchester United does not help.
And they might not have it for a while. Let's be honest. You know, so.
Now it's basically, does he buy in the Erik ten Hag's project now?
Yeah.
And if he does, then you know, that's kudos to that guy. He's 24, 25. 25. You know, 25, he is supposed to make decisions which are like, he's like, I feel that's what I feel for footballers now, because we take it for granted their privilege, right? They've made their millions, they have their ranches, they have everything in their life, but then they're still humans, which is very hard.
All he needs to do is look at how Paul Pogba, you know, pretty much wasted his career at United for 6 years.
No, but then that's kind of the thing, right? He So that's also does not help with Manchester United, right? He was like, look, what did you got a player that you loved for 100 million. He did not play or did what you wanted for 6 years, and then you just let him go for free. That's what you're going to do with me?
I don't know. Well, let's see. Anyway, I don't want to make this a United show or the De Jong show.
No, but that's good. But this also boils down to how Barcelona, like how football clubs in general are being run. Like, Renato Sanchez is one of those. He was amazing.
Yeah.
And then he made some decisions that he felt were right, but it didn't kind of end up being right for him. And he was in Schalke last, I guess.
No, he's in the French league now. I believe he's with
Rennes.
Rennes.
Ren.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm surprised a few clubs aren't looking at him. He's actually, revitalized his career.
He's improved himself, yeah. But then he might come.
But he was young enough to do it, so yeah. Sometimes you just need time. Yeah. Still, we're still waiting on Theo Walcott and Jesse Lingard to fulfill their potential. So,
Jack Wilshere is done.
Jack Wilshere as well. He'll come good eventually. Yeah, he's still.
No, but I think he's decided that he won't.
I'm just kidding.
Anywhere.
I'm just kidding. But
so
waiting on those guys. Anyway, let's see what happens with this. It's all they need to do, by the way, is they need to just sell Pedri and Gavi to €1 billion release clauses, right? Sell both of them for the release clause. They're done. Yeah, there you go. All the money is back. So maybe somebody will pay for their release clauses. No, they won't. That would be stunning if anybody paid €1 billion for those guys. But they did that. On that note, let me know in the comment section, or let us know, what did you think, or do you think of Barcelona's situation? It's a critical situation right now. But how do you think it ends? June 30th, by the way, is the deadline for them. They need to resolve some of those debts, because if they don't, they will then be under sanctions, facing sanctions from La Liga, as well as possibly from UEFA as well. So that is the deadline that Barcelona are working towards. What do you think is going to happen? How many players do you think are going to leave? Do you think, there will be more the departures along with De Jong? Maybe will there be a temptation to sell Pedri? Probably not, but there might be if they can get a decent deal. I don't know. But let me know in the comments.
They can't do Pedri. If they do Pedri, it will be.
That is like, I think that's like the nuclear option, isn't it? You press that button, that if they probably would be people interested to pay 120, 130 for him, easy, in this market. But that's probably a nuclear option that even they haven't considered. But let's see what happens. Share the comments. What do you think? If you enjoyed this video, do smash a like. Do smash a like as well for Knayha. Very emotional episode for him. But do smash a like for for all of his insights there. Appreciate that. Do remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We're going to be live when things happen. It's been kind of slow, the transfer market. We thought there'd already be things happening, but I guess clubs are taking their time a little bit, not wanting to overpay and things like that. But we'll go live when things happen. And of course, you might have some big breaking news coming with regards to the channel in the near future. So that might happen as well. So stay tuned to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter. Then you get that notification of what is coming. It might be something exciting. So do stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Knayha, for joining me and sharing your thoughts. Really appreciate the insights. It's always nice to have you on the show. Take care. Have a good night. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.